for joining us via Zoom, but we can't make a motion to approve you joining via Zoom, so we just won't vote on anything today. So it's gonna be more for informational purposes, okay?
Great.
All right, so now we're gonna move on. Do we have any public comment for today? No public comment, all right. So we do have two action items that we are going to forego for another day when we actually have a quota, which is the approval of the June 3rd meeting minutes. But although we don't have a quorum to vote on the interlocal agreement resolution, Brad is gonna go ahead and give us an update on that while we're here. So we can have additional information moving forward. So
Yes.
you ready?
Yeah, so if we had had a quorum, I would have asked you to make a recommendation about a resolution that our attorney has drafted that would be related to interlocal agreements that PSDA has entered into. PSDA has, I think, 15 different interlocal agreements with cities in Pinellas County and Tampa for services where we receive revenue from them for different services we provide. For example, St. Pete Beach, Treasure Island, for 30 years they've been giving us, we had an interlocal agreement with those cities where they pay us for the hours of the trolley that goes in their city. Now with the Tampa Bay Ferry and the Clearwater Ferry, we have interlocal agreements with Clearwater and Dunedin and St. Pete and Tampa, those kinds of things where PSA is receiving revenue. And the board approved a interlocal agreement. Our new great attorney, Jennifer Cowan, I think she has a sort of a different opinion than our last attorney in that she views that each year that we go back to each city and negotiate, and then they approve in their budget, and then they fund the next year of the agreement. Her interpretation is that constitutes an amendment to the interlocal agreement, and therefore would have to come back each year to the PSTA board. For example, St. Pete Beach just approved their 2026 funding for the year we're in now for the trolley. And that's going to be on the agenda this month for the PSA board to approve receiving the funds, receiving the St. Pete Beach funds. Our previous attorney, we didn't see it that way. And then he would just allow me to approve receiving of the funds. So what Jennifer has done is draft this resolution that's in your packet. It essentially just authorizes the CEO to receive any funds in interlocal agreements. Any new interlocal agreements would have to go to the PSA board for approval. Or we do have interlocal agreements where we expend money, like we have an interlocal agreement with the city of Clearwater where they're undergrounding the utilities by the Clearwater Transit Center, where we're paying them. Anything that we would spend money would go to the PSA board. This would just cover things that we're just receiving in money for services. That's what this is related to. Happy to answer any questions about it. I know you can't vote on it, but if this is okay to bring to the PSA board, let me know.
It's taking forever to download on my iPad.
Yeah, I don't think the Wi-Fi is working.
The Wi-Fi isn't working, okay. So I can't ask questions because I can't bring it up.
Is that the paper version?
And the action, yes.
Oh, yeah.
So these are, you said we have 15?
Right now, we have 15 different agreements.
And I do know Jennifer brought this up before. Why hadn't we not exercised this and there's a difference now between legal advisors? What is the difference?
Well,
It's the same verbiage, right?
it's the same. Alan just interpreted it that didn't really constitute an amendment. The next year's funding wasn't amending the underlying agreement, but Jennifer feels that,
Just a different legal.
yeah.
Yeah. I was wondering, because I was reading this, I'm like, I don't remember ever seeing anything like this before, because we vote on the contracts.
Yeah.
Right, long-term, so
Yeah,
it just seemed a little odd to me, but.
Okay, so the recommend approval of the resolution allowing the CEO to authorize and approval interlocal agreements in which PSTA receives funding. Is there no cap, no dollar amount? Is there any other stipulations, or that is just a total recommendation that we're going to vote on at the next board meeting?
this is sort of a procedure that PSTA would put into place for these things that, again, any new interlocal agreement that we would execute would come to the PSTA board for approval. Like if we were gonna run, the new one with City of Clearwater for the ferry or anything like that, that would come to the PSA board. But then, say it was a 5-year agreement where they were providing the funding, this Clearwater City Council would vote on it each year with their budget, but we wouldn't have to have a vote to just receive the annual allotment of funds that were in our budget.
Okay. Because I'm looking at a lot of the whereas clauses in this, and there's did you see this, Commissioner Scott? That part back in the back. So there's a lot that goes into that resolution, so that's why I was asking what were the details with that, because I hear what you're saying, Brad, about not bringing it to the board each and every time for every renewal, but according to those different details, it talks about extensions, there's a.
Would we have to do this every year? Because, presumably the money PSTA is gonna receive is gonna increase every year, probably some escalator in there, I would think. So would we have to do this every year?
No. This resolution shall be effective immediately and remain in effect until amended or rescinded by the PSA Board of Directors. And what this is authorizes me, the CEO, to file the interlocal agreement with the clerk, which we already do, and receive the funds.
So basically coming before us was a step in checks and balances, and so now Jennifer is thinking that there needs to be another amendment that allows these to happen without coming before us unless it's renewal. These are just contract approvals that we give the CEO to do. I guess I'm just trying to visually see where this step relieves having to come before the committee again.
Right, so I gave the example of the funding, the fiscal year 2026 funding that the city of St. Pete Beach approved by their city council in their budget, and then they approved to provide to PSTA to pay for the trolley services that we're running this year in St. Pete Beach. And Jennifer told me and Al that is you can't sign that, Brad, and take that money without the PSTA, because that's an amendment to the interlocal agreement. You have to go to the PSTA board, and so we're going to put that on the agenda for the finance committee and then the board to receive the $220,000 that City of St. Pete Beach is going to give us. We're gonna take that to the PSA board this month. Same thing happened in St. Petersburg. St. Petersburg has a interlocal agreement with PSTA where the city pays for transportation disadvantaged fares for low-income people, and City Council approved $75,000 additional for that that in this fiscal year. Jennifer said, no, Brad, you can't, even though the city council approved it and the mayor signed it. We're gonna take that to the PSA board. What this resolution would cover would be future things like that. like when the budget gets approved and when the councils approve these things for next fiscal year, then they would just flow into our revenue account.
So couldn't they have just gone on consent without the amendment?
We don't have to pass this. We can put these on consent. And just keep doing it this new way.
Okay, I'm just confused about the amendment. Commissioner Shear, do you have any questions?
I don't. Thank you.
Commissioner Scott? I'm just confused by it, so maybe I just need to have a little bit more clarification.
Well, it is a little odd because we've never seen this before that I recall anyways. But this is only for money that's coming in. This is for inflows, not outflows.
Right.
No, where there's no spending of money.
Right.
Yeah, but I still want to know what's coming in as well as what's going out. And I'm just curious as to what some of the other board comments are going to be. I mean, I'm okay with it. I just think that something like this could have just gone on consent without a change. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Did I interrupt you?
So we enter the agreements with, let's say, St. Pete Beach for, trolley service, and we give them. Does the board approve the pricing for that? They say, okay, we're gonna provide services for them at, I don't know, $90 an hour, just picking a number. I mean, is that just internally generated, or does the board approve those contracts? Or is that just what the purpose of
Well,
this?
typically the interlocal agreements don't have specific numbers in the base agreement. They describe the way in which the funding is gonna be calculated. Like, the city will pay 100%, or I think in the Jolly Trolley agreement with Clearwater, it says PSDA and the city go 50-50, or whatever, and things like that. The ferry one says that Tampa and St. Peter are gonna pay 100%.
Right.
And so that is what typically is there, and the board approves that, and then there is a calculation each year on the that staff does on the dollar amount for next fiscal year, the costs, and then we typically contact a staff person at the city, and then there's some negotiations back and forth or explanation of that.
Mhm.
And then these items, typically, all of them go to the city council,
Right, which they
each
vote
year.
on. Right, okay.
and then they approve it.
Mhm. So we're just giving you the authority. If that number changes annually, you have the authority to do it without coming back.
And that was my question, because dollar amounts change, and what is
Right.
and it doesn't specify what that threshold is. So do
What do
we
you mean?
not want to know what that is, or if it changes, or
Right.
I guess that was my
Well,
question.
another thing we could do, we could do it like we do procurements over $50,000 where we
There you
report
go.
on them.
Yeah.
And each month, receiving all these funds.
I'm just big on checks and balances, and not saying that anything will be done wrong, but I just didn't understand the amendment, me personally.
Or maybe there's an annual, when this comes up and it changes, you have to just at least inform the board of these changes.
Oh, okay.
I mean, whether it's just an informational item or
Yeah.
whatever, but.
That would be fine.
That back page, I think, and I still can't, it still won't come up, but.
Yeah, word outlines all these things. Would this occur at the same, all of these changes occur about the same time every year, or do they vary throughout the course of a year?
Well, my goal, unfortunately, we and the cities sometimes fall behind, but my goal is to have all of these negotiated and the new numbers approved with the city's budget October 1. So they all happen around this time every year.
Okay.
In the summertime, and then the city councils vote on them, and then the new fiscal year starts. So I think the city of Clearwater, they just approve it in their budget, and I don't think they take a separate vote on it, to my knowledge.
Just not on top of
CMP
Ours is general and consent, so.
but it is all kind of different, but it would happen in the summer, and then with the budget, documents, we could list them all.
So that would be my question, is to make sure that the board is informed and if we're going to do this approximately the same time, that definitely comes before the executive committee and then presented at the board if we move forward with the resolution. Because it was kind of odd to me that we were doing this. I just didn't understand the amendment.
It's really not any different than the sheriff. You know, he negotiates with several municipalities for the service that he delivers that don't have their own police department. So it's really the same thing, you know. I mean, the sheriff brings us his budget, which, you know, we approve, but we don't get into the direct negotiations between him and the cities. He says, if you want my services, this is what it's gonna be.
Yeah, does the sheriff, does the county commission have to approve receiving of the funds from the?
No. No, we just approve his budget, which includes, you know, he just builds that into his budget, but we don't
Yeah.
give him separate authority to do that.
So is that really the same thing then? If you don't give him separate authority to do that?
Well, I mean, that's what's different is
Okay.
a new legal interpretation here that says
We're giving him authority to do that, yeah.
Right.
So that's not the same thing, okay.
the sheriff has those interlocal agreements directly with the municipalities. We don't approve those for him.
You don't approve them.
Any other questions or comments on that?
No?
No?
We'll have a discussion at the board.
I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will. All right, well, seeing that there are no other,
And then, if I could just quickly.
no, please do.
Update you on the upcoming board agenda.
Oh,
an
okay, well, we're
informational
going
item.
there for the information items, yeah. I was getting ready to introduce that. Go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, so, of course, the finance committee is going to have a number of items. Namely, this month, the main item is the action item to approve the trim notice for fiscal year '27, the maximum millage to put on the trim notice. That'll be this month. And good news, Debbie has successfully locked in 50%.
Yeah, 50%.
I think it's filling up today, so
Yeah, I think that's
50% of our diesel fuel is now locked in. And so looks like we're gonna be able to reduce the tax rate slightly from its current 0.73 to 0.725. And we would also authorize to hold a public hearing on possibly reducing or eliminating our two lowest ridership routes, the Safety Harbor Snapper, and Route 90, which is a service that goes to St. Pete Beach. Very, very limited service. It's not going to save us a ton of money, but ridership has just not been there on those two services. We would have a public hearing on that as well. So that'll be the main item on the agenda for discussion, and we're gonna have that discussion at the planning committee and the finance committee also.
Hey, Brad.
Yeah.
So is that the full rollback rate, or is it just
It's not all the way down to the full
Okay.
rollback rate.
I think, don't we have to, with the governor signing SB 4, we have to have a supermajority to approve anything above the full rollback rate?
Yeah, we will need to have 10 votes. So that's why Debbie and I really are trying to get on everybody's calendar to talk to all the commissioners, see where we can end up.
Well, I think we have to understand if we did go to the full rollback rate, what does that look like and what impact does that have on services? Because we should have that available because I'm sure people are gonna wanna know that.
Yeah, I agree. I think the full rollback is .70 something,
2-3.
7023. Yeah, so we can develop that in, that as well,
And then what's being recommended is .701,
725.
.725, okay.
On this one's Finance Committee agenda and then probably on the consent, as I mentioned, we're gonna have two of these interlocal agreements. We're gonna have this, hopefully this resolution that will cover the future, but before this, we're gonna have two interlocal agreement approvals of receiving funds from St. Pete Beach and St. Petersburg for the trolley services and then the transportation disadvantage. In addition, we're going to have I'm hopeful that we'll have a resolution on the settlement for Clearwater Ferry, for the Clearwater Ferry accident. This month. Then we've got contracts with Ring Central, our phone system. That's a contract extension of 1 year.
1 year and adding money to it.
Well, yeah, for our phone system. There's mixed feelings within the organization about our phone system. Of course, the customer service really don't like it.
So what's the increased funding? I heard, so did you say increased funding in that?
Yeah, we're gonna add, I think, if my memory serves me correct, I think we need like to add $60,000 for the next year to the current contract value.
They wanted us to do a whole new contract for a multi-year, but because there's concerns, and we wanna kind of see what might other options be out there for a call system, phone system. We're just gonna do this 1 year, we're recommending this 1 year deal while we
Correct.
explore.
And it's the 60,000 for the 1 year.
Correct.
Yeah.
What was the current contract? I'm sorry, what was the term?
The initial term was 5 years, 5 years, ma'am. And like Brad said, they wanted us to renew for another 5 years, and we were like, we don't want to do that. We want to go out and we want to weigh our options, see what the market has. I met with BMO and their attorney, and we were able to come to an agreement of 1 year.
So, and forgive me if I get my boards mixed up, but I think we've been here before where we went out for bid, got another organization, they didn't turn out to be, the grass wasn't green on the other side, and then we came back.
Right, that's why we want to assess the things before we
Okay.
pull the trigger on somebody
And
new.
so a year would be sufficient, you're thinking?
Yes, ma'am. The IT director, Ms. Kessia Harris, I'm sorry, Al Burns, Director of Procurement. Ms. Kessia Harris, the IT director, she's talking with internal stakeholders to see what their preference is. Operations plays a big part in that because they're the super user of the phone system. And then based on the feedback that she gets, there'll be a decision made on whether or not we go back out or we stick with the carrier that we currently have, which is Ring Central. Ring Central is a great company. There's some challenges from an administrative perspective, but there's other things that we've discovered through negotiations that we might be able to do. For example, Charter Communications, our Spectrum contract, we can add them, Ring Central to that, and they could handle, Spectrum could handle all the administrative burdens. So there's just different things that we can explore, and I think a year is more than a sufficient amount of time.
So even with that, have we had the consideration of going year to year? Are we looking to commit to another 5-year contract after the next year?
I don't think we made our mind up on that, to be perfectly candid with you, Madam Chair. However, there's economies of scale if you do multi-year contracts, and those turn out to be beneficial. But we do a pricing, a cost analysis on everything that we do, and we'll make a decision based on, hey, is it better to go for 1 year or multiple years, et cetera.
And the reason why I say that is because if you're doing a year's extension and we're looking to go to the next 5 years, when are you actually gonna, what is the assessment period gonna be? It's not gonna be a full year because it has to be done before the year's up, before you decide if you're gonna go out for bid with another with another company or extend that contract, so it wouldn't be a full year assessment. Because you're gonna have to have time to decide if that year
It
is
won't be a
up.
full year
It
assessment.
won't be a full year assessment. So we're spending $60,000 for a full year that quote unquote, we're saying we're doing an assessment, but it really isn't a full year.
The $60,000 is not for the assessment. The
No, it's
$60,000
for
is
the year. I
service.
get that part,
Yeah.
but I'm talking about the true assessment before we decide whether or not we're gonna continue with that company or if we're gonna go out for bid, because there's a process from going out to bid. There's some.
Oh, yeah, and it's a lengthy
Yeah,
process.
it's a lengthy process, so it's not a full year, so that's why I was asking you if you thought a year was going to be enough.
Well, I'll speak and then I'll defer to Kessia.
Okay.
But when Kessia and I spoke, when I say assessment, maybe that's the wrong word choice, so let me clarify. Well, Kessia will meet with the various departments, operations, and say, hey, how, you know, is Ring Central working for you? And based off of conversations that I've had with the chief operating officer, he likes it. So based on whatever the feedback is that we get, then we'll decide, hey, do we want to go out for a full-blown solicitation? Or do we want to stay the course with Ring Central? And based on that decision, then that's when we'll make a choice. Hey, we'll go out to bid, or we'll just negotiate, or try to find another contracting option. I don't know if that.
Yeah, hi, good morning, Kessie Harris, IT Director. As Al mentioned, we're actively speaking to other departments. For the most part, we're hearing that the product itself, Ring Central, is great. It works for them. However, we do have some concerns with the administrative side, as Al mentioned. So right now, we're in negotiations with Ring Central. It depends on how the negotiations go. We are looking to see if we get better pricing with another company who also provides the same features that our current customers like. And if that is the route that we have to go, I think 1 year is sufficient, because we will start working on the RFP or the solicitation before the expiration of that 1 year.
Okay, so in those negotiations, if we're looking at a year and if we decide to go with another company, what would the transition period look like? Because, you know, we've worked with them for the last 5 years, and then we go into another company
Understood.
and we may be missing bits and pieces. What does that look like as far as if, you know, we're transferring service?
So, Madam Chair, I can assure you that Ring Central just won't cut us off.
Okay.
I can assure you of that. They won't just cut us off. We've been a long time valued customer of Ring Central. No contractor just wants to sever ties and be like, okay, we didn't get the contract, your service stops tomorrow. It just doesn't happen that way. They'll make concessions for a transition period, whatever that might look like. It will be able to, I'm 110% confident that we'll be able to negotiate that. For example, $60,000 is 60,000 divided by 12, whatever that monthly price is, then we'll be able to negotiate and say, hey, look, we'll need to keep Ring Central for 3 or 4 or 5 months, and I don't think that'll be a problem.
Okay, we just had this conversation in the legislative committee about procurements and automatically renewing of contracts, especially multi-year contracts. So going down to RFP is not Commissioner Nowicki talked about, use the county as an example, that we can just decide to just reinstate another contract for another 5 years without it automatically going out to RFP. And is that something that we're looking to do with this one, if we decide that we do like the contract with Ring Central? Is that not something that will come back to?
That is not possible at PST according to our procurement policy.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I wanted to put it out there because we had that conversation before.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that conversation before, so I just wanted to put it out there in the executive committee that that's not how that happened.
No, ma'am, that is not possible according to our procurement policy.
Okay.
And I will add, we have spoken to at least 2 other companies who provide similar service, and they have assured it takes about 3 months to set up everything. Again, that's an estimation. We always want to double what they say, but they said it takes about 3 months.
And the good thing now, sort of, is you know, these systems are all in the cloud. So
There's no
I mean,
there's no
we went,
servers or
you know, like isn't one of the other companies that's courting us,
Yeah,
Zoom.
Zoom
Zoom.
is another company.
It's all in the cloud. You know, you answer your phone on, a lot of employees that answer their phone on their computer now.
Correct. It's an app. They all have apps.
It's an app, yeah.
Probably 5 years ago at ESCOT, we got rid of our physical phones when our contract with Cisco expired, and we just went to Teams. Microsoft Teams, so we just
There are other
answer it on our
options.
computer.
And you can get a phone call through Teams?
Mm-hmm. Yep, sure can.
The weirdest, the hardest thing to get used to is you're not reaching for a phone.
Yes, no, I know.
You're used to having a piece of furniture, hardware on your desk that now is gone.
Great.
That's a little weird to get, once you get used to it, it's pretty easy. So what's it'd be a 60,000 increase for this upcoming year, but what's the total value of that contract annually?
Give me 1 second, sir.
That works perfectly great for probably most administrative employees. But then we also have a system,
Yeah, I don't know if it works
for the
for
call
center.
center.
Right, yeah.
the call
that's-
center is where we get most of our calls.
Right.
So the administrative issues, give an example.
Getting our account manager to be responsive, having regular ongoing meetings just to make sure that the system is working accurate, or if we have any questions about billing, they address it in a timely manner, things like that. And even just contract negotiations. Just getting people to be responsive.
Oh, wow.
The original contract value for Ring Central was $273,000, approximately $275,000.
Annually,
No, for the 5 year.
for 5 years.
Okay.
So
So it's
that's
gonna go up an
60,000.
additional 60,000
Um,
for 1 year?
The 60,000 is without their taxes.
let me clarify what I'm missing.
Well, so that would be for
Because that seems like
60
a
or-
lot, if it's just for extending 1 year, it seems like a lot.
The initial price for Ring Central to get totally stood up
Mhm.
is a different price, and I have to give you that. But the annual subscription and licensing fee over the 5 years is $273,000 for a total of 5 years. So you go to Ring Central or to a new platform, you have to buy all the hardware and all of that and that initial setup. That's one price. And then you'll see on a lot of software contracts that we have in IT contracts that there's maintenance fees and patch fee, our annual subscription fees. So the annual subscription fees for 5 years was $273,619. And for another additional year is $60,000.
So that works out to, it was about 55,000.
Yeah.
So it'll be, okay, all right.
Yes.
Okay.
Not
that
to
makes
exceed
sense.
60.
Got it. So it's going up about $5,000.
Yes, so I'd have to run a number.
Roughly.
Yeah, approximately, yeah, roughly.
We have 2 other procurements on the proposed agenda. We did a solicitation for renewal of our benefits broker. And I think the incumbent is recommended winner, the Gearing Group.
Correct.
And then the vendor managed inventory contract,
Correct.
that is, do you know who the winner of that is or recommended?
A board approval, the incumbent, Neopart is the one that I'll be bringing to you. We started doing that maybe about 5 years ago. Program's been very successful. It saves us a lot of money, saves a lot of time. And the new contractor, not to get ahead of my skis, if awarded, the new contractor will be setting up a warehouse in Central Florida because they've also won a couple other contracts in some other transit agencies. So we get the parts within 24 hours. We don't have to have all the carrying costs. I'm sure you're familiar with that. And the contract says we'll get the parts within 48 hours. It's a great thing, and the vendor has been awesome to work with.
Commissioner Scott?
No, I don't have anything else.
I think Commissioner Scherer, is he going?
Did he leave?
Looks like he's going. I think he's going.
Oh.
Anything else?
That is it. That is it.
Okay, and so that would be the July agenda, and those things that Brad just spoke about will be on the consent. So I guess we need to see if anybody wants to pull anything from consent with that said. So now moving on to other business, for the executive committee today, I just wanted to make sure I gave an update because as you talked about the ferry, and representing the city of St. Petersburg. Tomorrow, we will be presented with 4 different agreements to city council for approval. The release from the settlement agreement with the Vinoy and the TVRPC to allow the permanent ferry dock to be installed, as well as 2 docking agreements with Tampa Bay Sea Taxi, the Hubbards. We will be voting on those tomorrow. And an agreement with the dock provider to install the temporary dock along the Bayshore Drive in the North Yacht Basin. And so these are the final steps for the city of St. Petersburg to be able to welcome our new ferries. Yay! So I just wanted to make sure, we're not really sure when, that's gonna happen, the fall or the winter. But everybody's excited about these temporary, the potential of the dock. So I just wanted to make sure I presented that today because we will be voting on that tomorrow.
We're excited too. Madam Chair, just so that you know, and I've been communicating with Evan Mori, we have our PMO Director, Lucian Campbello, will be there along with Dana McDonald, our Project Manager from PMO, and our new Community Affairs Deputy Director, Karen Neesmith. So PSTA will be in the house.
Okay, well, we'll be ready for you
Yeah,
when you
okay.
get ready to go. When the ferries are ready, we will be ready. Commissioner Scott, did you have anything?
No, Madam Chair.
All right. Anybody else had anything?
And Al over there has been hotly negotiating with the San Francisco to allow our ferry boat to top off on their fuel,
Yes, oh, yes.
Okay.
and we have to pay them for that. And then Mark Hubbard is gonna try to go with the ferry. It's going to sail down to Mexico
Correct.
next week, supposedly.
Hopefully next week. And Brad's right, we're super excited. The boat is gonna go from San Francisco to Mexico. And Mark's going to accompany the vessel because there's some things that has happened at customs and things of that nature. So Mark will be, Mr. Hubbard will be acting as an agent on PSTA's behalf and the boat needs fuel. So we don't wanna get fuel at the local marina. We're asking WIDA to do that, and they're agreeable. Just have to don't want to negotiate some things with me, and I'll have to talk to Brad about that a little bit later.
Okay.
Last final thing, since this, we have the board meeting on July 22nd this month, and then right now, scheduled, July 24th, Friday, is our rescheduled workshop on the vision and mission.
July 22nd.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
On July 24th?
Oh, July 24th. I'm sorry. Yes, I have it on here.
Okay.
Yes, we have that also on the 22nd.
Okay.
We'll definitely have a discussion about, we might try to maybe tackle some other things, maybe related to this Amendment 3 and the impacts of that as well.
Okay.
In that.
Okay, and then
That
too, for
vision discussion.
consideration for the executive committee, is we may wanna look at ways that we can restructure, so that we are not constantly struggling with quorum, to vote. We probably need to have some type of conversation on that, so that we're not struggling with quorum. And this is not new. PSTA is not an issue with quorum. I have it on other boards too. But I didn't know if that needed to be a part of the conversation at the workshop.
We can certainly have that, yeah.
I
mean,
think we do.
We don't typically have a problem getting quorum for the finance committee and the planning committee too often. And as often as we have a little more challenge.
With the others. And Commissioner made a good point about the alternates. I don't know if we just probably need, I don't know how. We can have that conversation
Yeah.
later, but I just kind of wanted to put it out in the universe that we might want to have some type of conversation with that, about that. You have anything else, Brad?
I have nothing else.
Okay, that will be our other business, and our next meeting will be August 5th at 10 a.m. And seeing no other requests to speak, the meeting is now adjourned. Thank you, everybody. So we need to make sure Tom is on.